Welcome, everybody. I don't know if anybody's even here. Why am I starting this already? But
Nobody
Just
here
run with
yet.
it.
Oh,
There we
yeah, that
go, there
happens.
we
Oh, there we go. Yay, sorry, people pop in.
Opa.
Yay. Welcome to another dry run, episode number 12, sort of 12 and a half, because we were on Thursday, which we had a wonderful interview with Defense Trans or Lainey here on Substack. And I learned one very important thing from that conversation. Not only a lot about trans and non-binary people, but I also learned I need a camera and a microphone pretty quickly. Um, the weather here gets hot, and then I have no central air. It's not common in Portland, and so my phone started overheating on that hot day and started getting funny. So I needed that technically anyway. But I guess I'm just rushing it up the list. Anyway, welcome to another Dry Run. I'm the host, Samantha Paige. With me is my co-host, as always, Autumn Rose, and also from Stories of a Trans Witch. How are you doing, Autumn?
Doing good. How are you today,
I'm,
girl?
I'm good. Thank you. And today we have a special. We're doing it's our second three-way. We have a special guest host with us today. We have OnyxRose, who I'm very happy could join us. How are you,
Hello.
OnyxRose?
I'm great. Thank you. I appreciate you having me on.
Good deal. So we have a kind of an odd episode today. We're going to talk a little bit about Tigard Pride. Um, there is the main Pride celebration here in Portland, which is done in July, and there are reasons for that.
Oh,
But there are smaller suburban townships that hold their prides earlier and also in June. And so Autumn and I are going to go to visit a bunch of these suburban prides throughout the Washington and Portland metro area. And the first up is Tigard Pride. It's sort of the bellwether. I was jokingly said it's sort of the groundhog of Pride for us here. It's sort of going to give us the feeling of, whether we see the shadows or not. And we'll talk about that and what that was like. And then Autumn's going to cover some news stories. And we're going to review or talk about the movie Tu Wong Fu, which was recommended to us by Autumn's cis male roommate as a movie we could watch. And that was a lot of fun. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And
I
then,
have my feelings.
what's that, baby?
I have my
I was like,
feelings.
I have my feelings.
Yes, I know you have your feelings. I know you have those. And then we'll, of course, talk to Onyx Rose. I actually asked her to guest host here, not only to offer some opinions as to the news stories and just in Pride in general, but particularly because I watched your live that you did about facial feminization surgery or FFS. And I have
Right.
questions, and so I was hoping
Okay.
if you wouldn't be, if it wasn't too much, that we could maybe talk a little bit about that and what the procedure you went through was like, et cetera, and the waiting lists that go with that kind of treatment and things like that.
Okay. Yeah, definitely.
Good deal.
Definitely.
All right. Well, I'm really excited, and I don't. What do we? I guess we should probably begin the show. Uh, Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here. We're very happy to have you. I don't. I guess we could start with our discussion. Autumn, how are you? How was your week, baby?
I am still decompressing. We had a really fun day at Pride yesterday.
Yeah, we did. We did a sleepover again at Autumn's house because the Pride was in Portland suburb and I live in Vancouver. And it's just easier economically and gas wise to do that. So we stayed over and we watched the movie with Autumn's cis male roommate. And
It was the most uncomfortable experience of his entire life.
well, no, I mean, I think he enjoyed it. Come on, he loved it. I flirted a lot. It was fun. Oh,
Oh, that was
but
just you got your random hits at that point.
yeah, right. So anyway, but we're going to talk about that for the summer party probably later. I think right now, I guess we should probably talk about Pride. And in Autumn, since this was your side of the river, why don't you tell us a little bit about Tiger?
Sure. So we went to Tigard, Oregon. It's actually a suburb of Portland. Roughly about 50,000 is the population. It historically has voted to the Democratic side of the argument, but recently we've seen a uptick of more and more MAGA influence in that area. Some it's similar to other suburbs that we have here in the Portland area. So it's a really unique culture. But I
Mhm.
mean, yesterday's Pride event was awesome. I
Yeah.
mean, there was some concerns of MAGA pushback at it because that's the thing in Portland. And unfortunately, this instigator hit another trans memorial service that was going on yesterday for Juniper Blessing.
Right. So we were under the impression that certain people were going to possibly counter protest this pride. And it turns out they chose instead. I guess I didn't think low enough in their capability, their mindset to protest the Juniper Blessing Memorial that was being held.
Well, it wasn't real like it was really advertised either because like I'd been watching the events in the local area all week and that hit like last minute, sort of like the Vancouver event did for us.
Yeah.
So maybe it was just a lack of communication on it.
Yeah.
But it was really awesome because this medic that we're going to have on the show soon was actually donated some of his time to come out and offer de-escalation if we were to encounter MAGA protesters.
Yeah.
So
And,
we're going to
and
have
I'll
him
tell
on
you,
the show soon.
yeah, I hope so because I definitely felt safer walking through the crowd with him there. It's not like he's a big gentleman; he's a knowledgeable gentleman, and he comes with some experience in protests and in de-escalation training, and was a paramedic. I learned a lot about him while we were walking. It was I hope to see him again. He was very sweet. And it
That's
sort of
always
made
some.
me. Oh,
Go ahead.
sorry.
Sorry. No, I was just gonna pick on you. I was gonna say it was just because you thought you had the power with that walkie. Because I was sitting there doing the interviews, so you had our walkie to communicate with him.
No,
Samantha's
yeah,
like,
no,
"I
I
have
got
the
him.
power."
It's like a 5-year-old when you give them the car keys so they have something to play with. I was like, hold the walkie-talkie. It was fun. It was fun. But anyway, so please continue with the pride. It was how long was the parade route? About a mile, 2 miles?
So it was about a mile and a half route. I would say we got there right as the end of the beginning of the parade was hitting the end of the route, and it was about we had a good 15-20 minute show out.
Mhm.
I think we talked about in one of the clips, like one of the allied churches showed up. I think it was the Methodist Church of the area, so that they had a big display.
Yeah.
I mean, I think my takeaway from when we were out there yesterday was I noticed there was a lot more trans and non-binary representation overall.
No, I appreciate that. And to kind of just complete the picture again, we're talking about a kind of a conservative leaning suburb, median house price of about 600,000. And this is the parade ended at the suburban high school, Tigard High School, and then in the high school they had a number of events and bands playing and booths set up. But
Oh.
yeah, it was very nice. But what I noticed about it, and I like your takeaway, Autumn. My takeaway was the family nature of it. There were a bunch of parents with kids, whether they be older siblings or younger siblings. There were a lot of kids, and it was they lined as far as I could see down the parade route. It was lined with people, um, and flags, and it was really a fun parade. It reminded me of parades when I was a child living in a small suburb. So
It
uh,
was a totally small town parade. I loved it. I felt like I was back home for that.
Can
yeah, it
I
was nice.
can
Yeah.
can I
Well,
jump in really quickly?
oh, of course.
Yeah,
I'm
go
so
for it.
sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, 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 no. The reason why I want to is because I've got the same kind of story, and
Mhm.
that's Atlanta Pride is the biggest pride in the Southeast.
Okay.
But next door to Marietta, which is where I live, Marietta does not have a pride. Um, Next door to Marietta is a little town called Smyrna. Smyrna's famous for where Julia Roberts was born.
Oh,
But
wow.
Smyrna also has a pride. And, Smyrna is like, median age is 35 to 45 years old, like, 105,000 for income.
Mhm.
So it's this same little like purplish blue leaning city. And the pride we went to last year was amazing because it was so family forward. There
Mhm.
was no marching, but there
Yeah.
was, it was such a good, like, wholesome feel. And it was nice that my bestie's daughters got to experience their first pride as something like that. No,
Right.
nothing overwhelming, but an open freedom.
Yeah.
And so much so that one of her girls came out as gay, as lesbian at 11 years old, and she's been waiting this whole time, this whole year to go to this Pride parade, this
Yeah.
Pride Fest. So I can't wait. It's June 13th, so we can't
Oh,
wait.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Anyway,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, that's part of the reason why Portland moved it a month was because of the Juneteenth holiday. So,
So
Okay, yeah.
does that mean we get to look forward to a live show with you on OnyxRose?
yeah,
Oh,
to tell them about your
maybe.
pride.
Actually, maybe. Yes. Yes. I might have to do that.
Good deal.
That's
Good.
awesome.
Wow.
I was telling Sammy, you'll see some of when we release some of the clips from what we did yesterday. It's so cute. I was like, I'm gonna manifest my Chelsea Gods energy for the in case the anti-protesters show up. So I was out there in this like looked almost like a trans cheerleader, and I had my flag and protest megaphone on my side.
Oh,
I would.
nice.
We were prepared.
Yeah, it
Very
made a
nice.
look. It made a look. It was giving. It was giving. So yeah, it was fun. It was fun. Um, yeah, it was just neat. I mean, some of the people we talked, Autumn got to talk to some of the people who were running some of the booths and to get some video and some interviews of those that she'll be putting together for her show. Um,
Yeah, you know, the one that hit me the hardest, I think,
Mhm.
looking back in retrospect, was the Mama Dragons
yeah,
organization.
Mhm.
That was just a beautiful story of parents and grandparents that realize they have trans youth under them and they protect them. And it's like the motto is, I'm going to protect them with the anger of a mama dragon. So
right.
it's really
Yeah,
Right.
cool to think about.
Yeah.
yeah, and Onyx Rose. I'm sure you know of a number of other organizations that also have that kind of like Mama Bears or something. I'm sure
Like Mama
we have
Bears,
something in the
yeah.
Portland area
Yeah.
or in the
Yeah.
Atlanta area.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I
uh,
follow Mama Bears on Facebook. They're amazing.
yeah, they are.
Yeah, and
They are.
they're on I think they're on are they not on Substack as well? Maybe
No,
not.
they are. They are.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm still getting caught up with trying to catch up with the Substack platform and all the other ones we have to run, especially with our radio shows. So
Right.
that's technical errors on my part.
Yeah, dragged me into Facebook. Um, anyway, so yeah, we were reading the people behind the Mama Dragons was very nice. That was very sweet. There are a couple of other more like clothing oriented or jewelry oriented or soaps oriented vendors and things like that. Um, who else did we
Actually, you
talk to?
know what was really interesting, Onyx Rose, was that we there was also a lot of trans witches that were there. Like we had a couple of conversations with them as
Interesting.
well. Like they were doing readings and stuff.
Interesting. Now, I don't think that's something I'll see at Smyrna. I don't know, but that is interesting. I know that's something that we would see it in Atlanta. Um, yeah, but yeah. Um,
Well, it was fun because I actually took one of my coven leaders with me, and we were playing around there. So
really,
she
did you
ran
get a
up to me at one
reading?
point. Oh yeah, we had a really good time. There is an interview I'm really looking forward to releasing, but it's another allyship story from a trans parent and talking about their kid's journey. It's just amazing.
Mhm,
Okay.
mhm. I mean, and you interviewed a a person there at the program. Was that the transparent that you were talking about, Autumn, or is that
Yes,
okay? Good deal.
when we were sitting there interviewing at the kind of where the tables were.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Yeah,
So
that
that's going
was
to be part of the
the
thing.
transparent that we spoke to. Yes,
Good deal. And then yeah, the witch stuff
depending
is always
on our questions.
exciting to watch or learn to listen. I'm Scully to the Mulder, I guess, but I enjoy learning. So
That's why we make the
so
perfect team.
yeah, right, exactly. Um, So, about the pride, I don't know if I even mentioned this at the beginning, but the idea that we have is or Autumn had, was to go to a number of the suburban prides. When they're on my side of the river, I'll do the interviewing and take the lead. And then when, of course, they're on Autumn's side of the river, she'll take the lead. But because pride stretches out for more than just the month of June here because of the way it's run, we should have a number of different prides that we can report on, and I think it's going to be great.
That is a great
Yeah,
idea. Sorry.
No, you're fine. No, Portland, they run Main Pride in July because Portland made the decision that we did not want to step on the feet of those that are celebrating Juneteenth. So the Pride team kind of yielded and said, "Y'all have June, we'll take July."
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Atlanta Pride is actually in October, and that's like, yeah, you think it's like random and shit, but no, it's so, it's hot, hot, super hot
Mhm.
in Atlanta in June. But more so than that, where they hold Pride, Piedmont Park, the park was ruined, because it was hot and like people would
Mm.
trash it, and so they decided to let it heal, and they moved it to October, and it's always stuck since then.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, I mean, it seems like it would be far more comfortable weather-wise.
yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, that's fantastic.
Oh, come on.
Um,
Us in Austin, our Austin Pride was mid-August. Okay. It was like the worst time of the year for Texas. I feel like
Oh,
they're like, here, you queer people can have the leftovers. It's
right.
like 120 and you're trying to walk in the
I just
parade.
cannot handle Texas in the summer. Summer in Texas, but like summer in Texas and summer in Georgia are kind of the same. Summer in Texas is a little bit hotter, but a little bit drier.
I
Summer in no, no,
I mean, the last time I went to Georgia, I was like, man, I can cut the air here.
right, right.
I just don't like humidity. I'll take heat, but I just don't like humidity.
The humidity
Uh,
down here is crazy.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
crazy.
I remember from Chicago where you would, like, leave a building to walk to another building downtown, and by the time you got there, you were just soaked with, like,
Right.
your sweat. Oof. Yeah. So I don't live in a humid area. I live in a place that has a different type of humidity all the time.
I can't tell
Oh,
you how many the times in Texas I just rolled my eyes after, feeling like I did a great makeup job, but then walking into that blistering heat and melting.
Right. Right. Yeah.
yeah.
It's like, all right, back to the drawing board.
Mm.
Yeah, that doesn't sound, well, we'll see. Never say never. I'm not unhappy with where I live, but Texas certainly wouldn't be on the top of a list anytime soon.
No.
No.
Yeah, my
Uh,
birth certificate is
Hey,
stuck in
thanks for
Texas.
posting
oh,
that on Substack earlier, by the way,
mhm.
Samantha.
Oh,
I
which
just
one?
wanted to thank you. I waited purposely to thank you on air for posting that video from the Texas education hearing.
Right.
That was really deep.
Right? I mean, that was powerful stuff. I mean, I heard that and I was just like, "Damn, gotta get that on there."
I was like, thanks, we appreciate that.
Right? I'd be like, "Yay." But it was, yeah, it was pretty scathing, and it was pretty on point. Um, so, I mean, uh but anyway, so I'm sorry, Onyx Rose, we didn't mean to, like, kind of go
No.
off on a
No.
thing. Um, so I again, maybe we can switch to the FFS surgery if you wouldn't mind before we jump further in, or do you
That's I don't
we
mind at
all
all. Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind at all.
Onyx Rose can testify to the fact that we are a on point show in the green room. We really
Yay.
do talk about what we're gonna do and what the plan is. Um, so I watch you when you have your shows. I enjoy them. I enjoy you when you're on with Sturgis Rights and Brandon, and I really appreciate
Yay.
those shows.
Thank
And I got lucky enough to click into one of your lives where you were talking about FFS. Um,
right, right.
yeah, and, for those who may not know, FFS is facial feminization surgery,
It
and,
is, yeah,
and it's a number of procedures, though you don't have to do all of them at once. Maybe you can, or you can choose. Um,
right.
and 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 I know that you recently had it, and yours looks amazing, and it looks wonderful.
Thank
And
you.
so, but I wanted to talk a little bit about the process, for those who may not understand what it entails.
Okay,
Um,
so
and
first of all, being trans and getting any gender affirming care surgery usually requires letters from therapists or psychiatrists. And what that entails is seeing a gender therapist or even a therapist or psychiatrist who, after a number of sessions, is willing to write a letter saying, yes, this person is mentally stable and understands what they're going through. Yeah, I know it's kind of crazy that, yeah, as trans people, we have to get this letter,
Mhm.
because my sister just went through a whole like mommy makeover and didn't need any letter from anybody.
Right.
So, but yeah,
Yeah.
so, for this FFS surgery, for FFS, I needed one letter. I did get it.
Mhm.
And, I just, what I did is you do consults. So you
Okay.
look up surgeons, and the surgeons are, based, on their skills in facial feminization surgery. You start having consults with them, and each consult can be like $150. So first
Okay.
of all, to write the letter from the therapist or psychiatrist, it's $150.
Okay.
And then for the consult, it's $150. So, and then as you said, FFS is not one single procedure, but it's a series of procedures. You can have as many or as little as you'd like
Mhm.
in a sitting. I chose to have 9 procedures done, and it
Okay.
took 12 and a half hours
Ah,
straight. Yeah,
wow.
straight.
Okay, so yeah, we're gonna talk about that, definitely.
Right.
Um, but just to sort of back it up for just a second, because generally the narrative that people who don't know much about us or about gender affirming care, the narrative or this idea probably stems from that meme or whatever about kids going to school and then coming back with the new sex. Um, is that this is a process. This is a process that's medically regulated. That doctors are involved, wait lists are involved, scheduling's involved. There's a lot involved. And part of that gatekeeping to our care, again, your sister was able to do what she wanted, but
Right.
part of that gatekeeping for our care includes additional steps with additional costs. Uh, but it's
Right.
certainly not the idea that I could go in, decide tomorrow to have a boob job and get it done, or to have
Right.
facial feminization, or to get an orchi. It's not. I mean, Autumn's been on a list for a while now to try and
Yeah, I
Right.
was gonna say I can step in on that one because with my condition, it's not even necessarily just because it's trans related. I have some other medical issues going on, but because of what I need could be considered a trans
Right.
surgery or gender affirming care, they had to get an additional approval for this. Meantime, my doctor's just yelling at the state saying this is a medically necessary surgery. And I'm
Right.
just now getting consultation for it, and it's been almost a year.
yeah, so
Yeah.
so she has just to be clarified, she has a condition that would warrant this procedure
Right.
regardless of being trans, but because she's trans, it's another layer on top of this.
Right. Once
Um,
they hear you're trans, it does not
mhm,
matter.
yeah,
Everything runs through that trans filter.
right. No,
Yeah, it's HOT's fault.
Uh-huh.
Right,
So,
Sam?
right, no, yeah. So
It's all
uh-huh.
this
the
is my medical
HOT's
month.
fault.
I'm sorry. Yeah, this
I
is
was
my
just
medical
gonna
month.
I was
Go ahead, babe, go. I'm so bad
I
at
was
this.
just chiming in with, Sammy's line with, "It's because it's my HRT's fault."
Oh, yeah, that's the whenever we go to the doctor, regardless if it's for, like, a flu shot or for a cold, it's like, any diagnosis, every differential diagnosis they would include is always, because they're trans.
Yeah.
It's like,
Woo.
uh, regardless of what, broken arm? Because they're trans. It was
Trans.
one of the
Right.
differential diagnoses.
Trans.
Stub
Yeah.
Stub-toe trans.
Yeah. Everything could be caused by RHRT. But anyway, which you can't. But anyway, I what I wanted to mention, I guess, is that today's my medical month. So every 3 months I go to an endocrinologist to get my blood looked at and blood work done. And so this is that month where I do that. And one of the questions that I may bring up to my endocrinologist, though they can't answer them because they're not a surgeon, is going to be some of the surgical options. Um, I have a skin condition or a scarring condition. I can never pronounce it correctly, but it's either keloid or
Yeah.
keloid
Keloid.
scar. Yeah.
Keloid. Yeah. Keloid. Um,
So I've always, and that for those who don't know, it's sort of I don't scar well. It scars extra scar tissue and it lasts much longer. So I'm hesitant to have that done up in, yeah.
So if you do keloid, I can get some keloids too. I actually have some right up in here.
Mhm,
Um, it the scar gel really helps. Scar gel is expensive, like super
mhm,
expensive, but it really helps.
mhm.
Um, and my scars have, disappeared slowly or quicker than I would have expected,
Mhm.
and I still have leftover scarring, but, for the most part, it's really good. I
Yeah,
expected to have, like, this big gash, and I did, but it healed really well.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
no,
No, it's impressive,
thank you. Yeah.
especially for 9 procedures over 12 hours. You gotta be
Right,
kidding. So
right.
yeah, what were the 9? What did you have done that you
So
wanted done the most, or were they all
right.
recommended?
What I wanted done the most, was to have my forehead reduced, and shaved down, and my nose tilted up a bit,
Mhm.
and my lip tilted up a bit. I also
Okay.
got chin work, eye socket work, um, fat grafts,
Mhm.
um, you know, let me see if I
Yeah.
can remember. So other stuff, but all of it, like all these little things, and it was so funny because they would just call Egg in the middle of the night and be like, "Okay, this part has just been done," and she would be like, "Thank you," and they would just keep on, telling her which step by
Mhm.
step by step what they had done, like the blepharoplasty or
Wow.
where they do the bony parts of eye
Mhm.
sockets.
Mhm.
Um, so they would call and tell her that. And one of the great things is my surgeon. He is a surgeon, but he's also an artist. His hands
Yeah.
are he does art with his hands.
Hmm.
I've looked at his results on other people,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
they are stunning, so he is really not very well known. Like, it took
Mhm.
me 6 months to get in the door and get started,
Mhm. Yeah.
as opposed to, like, a year or, a year and a half. So, I mean, like, from, like, 6 months from getting started to getting scheduled, is
Okay.
what it took, right,
Yeah.
and then I got scheduled in by the end of last year. So, I got my surgery on December 11th,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
I've pretty much healed, yeah.
Yeah. No, I think so. Yeah,
No,
it's gorgeous.
no,
Yeah.
thank you. Oh,
So, you mind if I ask, I mean, so that when you said that the brow, of course,
right,
they
right.
shave that down, they burr the bone down, is that
Yeah.
what they do?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they pull it's kinda I like saying things like this because people get all like, but
Yeah,
they
right.
actually they pull the face down and, shave. They actually take a bony tool and shave down and, like, all the eye orbitals and
Mhm.
all around here, and then the nose, the septum, um, and, yeah, so they put a titanium plate in here, so there's a titanium plate. My head is still numb and will
Wow, okay.
probably stay numb for a
Mhm.
while.
Yeah, it takes a little while for the nerves to regenerate, but yeah,
Yeah,
about a year.
I've got
Yeah.
I've got a scar right here, which you can kinda tell it goes the length right here,
Mhm.
and they put a titanium plate in my chin,
Okay.
which this is still swollen a bit, so,
Mhm. Mhm.
yeah, um, but yeah, so, all in all, it was a smashing success.
Yeah,
I can't I can't
no
complain
regrets,
about
right? No, yeah.
it.
I do like
can I
your
ask
cheeks. I
you
think those are your cheeks are gorgeous. I love that really
Thank
how it really
you.
does brighten it up. It's very sweet. Yeah, yeah, you look great.
Thank you.
can I ask you what was the pain levels like when you first got done with surgery?
Mhm.
So, yeah, I prepared mentally for the absolute worst. I prepared mentally for the absolute worst pain I had ever felt, and I've had a lot of really bad pain in my life. Um, so I went in expecting it, and the first 48 hours were bad. The last 24 hours after that were the absolute worst. It was hell. I couldn't see for 2 days, so I was in a lot of pain, but after that, the pain dropped just, like, drastically and
Okay.
quickly. Yeah.
Really? Yeah.
It was so fast how the pain just left. I was moving around pretty normally within a week.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm imagining, I don't know, like facial reconstruction surgeries that's shown in movies where they have these bandages around their
Well,
heads.
that's what it was. That's
Yeah,
exactly what it
it
was.
was.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was just like, I I and I don't say words like blessed a lot because,
Mhm.
I just don't, but in this instance, I'm just blessed. It was like, I don't know what else to say. I just, like, I had a great surgeon who did a great job, and I had great heal,
Okay.
and there's
Yeah.
yeah, I can't
Girl,
really say any uh,
I
No,
can
no, it's
only
a beautiful job.
imagine.
It's a beautiful job.
thank
I
Sorry.
you,
can only
thank you.
I can only imagine on that because not gonna lie, I was a little girl when I had to deal with mine. I had a correction to my septum done, and they did a double rhinoplasty on me.
Okay.
And I don't know how far you went into your reconstruction there, but having those inserts that they had inside of you at the time, so weird.
OMG, I did not know they were plastic inserts. When they pulled those little things out of my nose, I was so creeped out. They're like plastic open, like, placeholders,
Yeah,
and
like the little things on pizzas that you keep in
yeah,
Yes,
little boxes.
yeah,
yes,
and
totally.
they twist them into your nose. It's like a corkscrew, and I was like, "Oh my god," And, but of course, that was the reason I couldn't breathe was because they were in my nose.
Mm.
And once they took it, but there was a reason they were in there is to keep my nose shaped the way it was supposed to be shaped, and the whole time I
Right.
was like, can I just pull this shit out?" But no,
And it was
it's,
as gross as the scene in The Matrix when Neo's getting the
it's
bug pulled out of him, okay?
yes,
It was oh my
yes!
god.
Yes, that's what I was thinking too. Me and Egg talked about that. It was so gross.
Y'all are selling it. You're just selling the procedure.
Right?
Hey, I can breathe at least now.
Okay. Okay.
Right,
That's good.
right.
Yeah. That
But,
and feeling better about oneself.
there
Sounds
were
pretty
some
good.
fun things, like I had screws in my head and that I called horns. I actually had
Mm.
metal or titanium screws sticking out of my head,
Ah.
that we went to my surgeon. He was like, "Oh, yeah, I didn't tell you. I'm sorry." So he gets a screwdriver and unscrews them and takes them out. I have them in a jar with my chin bone. Done.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
Wow. Wow. Heck of a story. Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously a lot that goes into it,
Yeah.
in order to do it right and to do it for a doctor with some skills and artistic skills, especially in that kind of reconstruction. Um,
Right.
do you mind whether and maybe this is not a question that's appropriate, you can honestly tell me if you don't think it is, but did you pay for this procedure yourself on a payment plan, or did you make arrangements, or was it with the assistance of some sort of insurance?
So, yes, I took out a loan.
Okay.
Yeah, and, what happened is I hit my out-of-pocket maximum,
Mhm.
I just needed to pay my surgeon's fees,
Okay.
and so I took out a loan for that. No.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm, and yeah, so
So it's
it was actually pretty cheap, considering.
yeah. Yeah, expensive in time and worry and stuff like that, but you finally
Right.
got it done, and that's good that it
Well,
wasn't. It's like I haven't even examined because I have already kind of ruled out the possibility of surgery for me, even though I haven't really done enough investigation as to whether it's possible. Um, so I have never really looked into it outside of my HRT. That's all I was going to be able to do. Though
right,
an orchid was always on the list, but
right,
um,
right.
um,
It was kinda funny because I didn't plan on an orchie, I planned on bottom surgery, and I got an orchie first, and then the next year, I had full bottom surgery, which was kinda strange.
wow,
It just
yeah.
yeah, it just so happened that the person I went to, I should never have gone to. If y'all know anything about anybody who does bottom surgery in the Pennsylvania area, you know who I'm talking about. She probably is not practicing it anymore. If she is, I won't say her name because
No, yeah.
yeah,
But we
but
do talk.
yeah.
Then we know who's, yeah, well, good and
Right,
not, so to speak. Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
right. So,
No, you know.
yeah,
Mhm. Mhm.
definitely.
Yeah. Um, but you had an unfortunate experience with that procedure, it sounds like you said, or is it?
So, I was one of the lucky ones.
Mhm.
I actually had, thankfully, a good experience, but I know way too many people who had bad experiences and way too many people that this person sued,
Mm,
or
mm,
for saying things
okay.
negatively
Yeah, let's not
online.
get sued.
Right,
So,
right.
point
So,
made.
yeah,
Yeah, so they
This is
defended
for
themselves.
educational
Yeah.
purposes only.
uh, yes, there we go. There we go. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, and again, we do. I mean, there are Reddit boards. There are other means of, hey, have you heard of this doctor? Or I have who's gone to there's a lot of that that goes along in the community. But um, if you're bad, we know, kind of, at least
Right,
someone does out there that you can ask. So it isn't like, I mean, sometimes the rhetoric seems to be like anybody could just open a chop shop on the street corner, and start doing surgeries, and that's not the way it works. But
right,
and it's not like the medical industry is pressing upon this on us. We're doing a lot of research on who those doctors are that are
right,
doing this because we want the best results possible for us and the best
right,
care possible. Um, so it's not a really quick go into a chop shop, get it done, get it whacked off, and you're out thing. There's a
right.
lot to it. And there are some countries that are better at it than others, to be honest with you.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
yeah,
And that right there debunks that they're kidnapping the kids at school, okay, for those that are still listening.
right. Yeah,
This is
Billy doesn't go to
yeah,
school a boy and go home a girl the next day.
right,
In
right,
reality,
right.
even adults can't do it.
Even
Uh,
adults can't do it, right.
mhm. Yeah. The rules here in Washington right before you had to live a year as your chosen existing
So,
vendor. Yeah.
yeah, that was actually when I first started transitioning in 2015,
Hmm.
2016, I'm sorry, that I you had to live for 2 years.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
2
Uh-huh.
years. You had to start socially transitioning, and then after that, like, after seeing my first gender therapist for,
Mhm.
like, I think I saw him for 4 or 5, sessions, then he
Mhm.
wrote me a letter to an endocrinologist, and that's
Okay.
how I started HRT. So it wasn't informed consent or anything like that. I had to go through these steps, and these steps took a long time and took a lot of money, you know?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
once again, the whole thing is, this guy happened to be trans, but all of my other therapists have been cis, and I'm
Mhm.
like, why should I be paying y'all cis people who are, this is a surgery for trans people. I
Mhm. Yeah.
step back.
Yeah.
I
But
mean
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm just gonna say it feels like a tax on existence.
yeah, no, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, no, it's
Oh,
it's gatekeeping, especially in England where, like,
yeah,
the lists can be years, if not,
yeah, yeah,
so,
yeah,
it's certainly a form of gatekeeping, whether by through the government with all these many regulations. I mean, first of all, healthcare should never be politicized. I don't think that I mean,
right,
who's next? The neurodivergent people are always a thought, of people who may have ADHD or something like that. But we really
right,
don't wanna be doing this where the slippery slope is. I mean, I don't wanna pay for some guy's Viagra. I'm not gonna have a baby, I'm old, right? Why do I have to have that? I mean, you start making these choices on this collective bargaining agreement, and that's what health insurance essentially is, um, and it just gets silly, broad as possible, I think, personally. But anyway, healthcare should never be politicized, and the government's definitely
no.
not my fucking doctor. But anyway, I've been getting aggressive lately, Autumn. You're supposed to keep
I
from doing that.
I
Oh,
like
no,
it.
it's fun. Don't you love this energy?
I like it.
It's
Yes.
energy. Um but anyway, Onyx Rose, I really want to thank you for being on with us and for
Oh, you're
talking about this.
welcome. Most
I
welcome.
know that these are private matters and private procedures, and I've really sort of been somewhat, picking at details and questions. But thank you
I
for.
like but here's the thing, there are people who don't know and
Mhm,
have misinformation,
mhm.
and so anytime that can be replaced with the right information, I think it's
Yeah,
great,
I agree.
and
Yeah,
so thank you for letting me talk about it. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I, 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 I want you every anytime, Onyx Rose. Anytime, just come back. Don't worry. Talk about anything. um, so at this point, normally in the show, we would probably switch over to Autumn to do some news stories, which means we get some bubble time, and I love bubble time. So
We'll let Samantha do her bubble dance.
yes,
So
tell me when. Tell me when.
I'm gonna try to keep it a little short because we ran a little over on that segment, but that was a
Oh
fun
yeah.
segment. So we're gonna jump to a story about the GOP jumping out of or canceling the session on the House side of the Capitol because they knew they were gonna lose the War Resolution Act, and that the Democrats were gonna get that passed. And it's a concern for them because at this point, if we get this past the House, then Trump has to physically reject this bill, and we're creating this paper trail regardless.
Yeah, that'd
Keep
be one
delaying.
heck of a veto, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so Mike Johnson was having none of that. We're just like, we're going to shut the House down completely. We'll see you sometime in June.
Oh,
That's kind of how petty it's gotten on the Capitol at this point. And we're going to load this story.
Bubble time.
bubble
I hate
time.
when I start the dance early. I was like, bubble time. I'm trying to now I screwed it all up. Well, next time, bubble time. We're doing the bubble dance. Yay. Thank you for joining me on OnyxRose in the bubble dance.
Y'all are so adorable. So I'm going to kind of keep it a little fluffy and simple today. But for anybody who wants to chase this story, here's a good link on CNN talking just about how the leadership abruptly canceled the House vote. But I think I'm going to say as a trans girl, this next one was such a petty play that happened in the
Oh,
Senate level.
okay.
So, we have
Let's
Mike
see this one.
Johnson that's just clear the House. We're done. We're not talking again.
Mhm.
And the Senate Republicans actually blocked Trump's ballroom funding.
The Senate
Like,
Republicans or the Democrats?
How did the Senate Republicans block that?
The
Why-
Republicans did?
So there's a whole story going down this weekend because, Trump turned on Massey in the Kentucky primary and
Right.
pushed one of his other elected candidates into place, pushing Massey out. And Massey is one of the Republicans that's on that path. Like, I don't care. You just took my career. I'm going down. And there's these certain Republicans that are starting to push back against the MAGA movement.
Oh, good. Yeah, MAGA is falling apart.
Yeah.
There's so many holes in MAGA right now.
I hope that's true too, and I'm just worried that it's going to get far more dangerous towards the end as it collapses.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing is the Senate was also delaying this vote here because if you look at it on the Trump side of the aisle, we're trying to push another $72 billion into immigration enforcement.
OMG.
So,
I
we
did not-
can't do anything without making sure ICE gets their share,
That is
Well-
a lot of money being thrown into I.
And I heard the reflecting pool's price is. First of all, Trump. I heard an interview with Trump where he basically just admitted to just saying, I just called a guy,
I just call a guy.
So that's a good price. Let's do it. So much for the no bid contract, right?
Have you seen some of the Iranian propaganda this weekend? It has been bad
Oh,
because there's
shit.
this back and forth. Like Trump's projecting that we're close to an agreement in Iran, and Iran's propaganda that's making it back to the U.S. is saying that Trump's just surrendering.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's what I've heard actually.
Yeah, I'm not fond of platforming the Iranian propaganda, but I do like mentioning what its theories or what its positions are. But
I don't want to. I was the same way thinking about this article, but I was like, sorry, I got to bring this one up because this is kind of funny.
Yeah. So this is the remember OnyxRose? I told you that part of it would probably be improv.
Yeah, I love the improv part. Yeah, I want to. Yeah. I don't know about. Yeah, that's y'all's. Yeah,
It's how they work. Sometimes.
The reason why I'm back on the improv, can I jump back to like small cities?
Yeah.
And this is like I'm really pivoting back to Pride.
Okay.
And because I wanted to talk about the city of Smyrna. The reason why I like the city of Smyrna is because it is, if we don't stay where we're staying now, we're going to move to the city of Smyrna. It's because it's more diverse. It's like 42% white, 31% Black, 12% Hispanic, 6% or 8% Asian. So it's got a decent mix of people. The
Yeah.
ages are between 35 and 40.
Perfect. Yeah, very much.
Nice education. And it's just a fun little city. It's an up and
Yeah.
coming city, and they're sinking money into it. So get in while the getting's good, type of thing.
Good
Yeah.
deal.
Um,
Yeah.
and they have a cool little pride. It's a joy to see like little kids who get
Mhm.
to be themselves,
Mhm.
and not have to worry about who's looking over their shoulders or if somebody's going to protest their existence,
Right. Or adult
just
yell at them or accuse them of
right,
being,
right.
you know.
Just for a few hours this time, they can run around with the other kids.
Yeah.
Uh,
Mhm.
so,
Yeah.
sorry, I'm happy
No, no,
about
no.
that.
I agree completely with you. The big city prides, which are a bit more like, beer garden like in their own ways, but
Right,
um, and then I enjoy the family friendly prides as much as you
right,
do. I just really enjoy seeing the various ages, sitting out in their lawn chairs in front of the lawn,
right.
waiting
Yes,
for the parade to come, and everybody sort of
yeah,
chatting amongst themselves and everything, getting to know each other and the neighbors. I enjoyed that
yeah,
experience a lot.
Well,
yeah,
you know what was also cool about it was they had a band playing pretty much the whole time. There was these
yes.
teenage punk bands from the high school that were rocking out in this, like, center, forage area. It was
Yeah.
really cool.
We actually
I heard
had a
some good Green
DJ.
Day covers. We heard some
There
good Green Day
were.
covers for sure. Uh,
There was a DJ last time, and there will probably be this. I know there's going to be the same DJ who was there last time. He's going to be there again this year. Um, uh, yeah, not a lot of punk bands.
no, yeah.
Oh,
we
we're
we
just getting
Autumn and I had
started.
the pleasure of, and we're going to promote it now too. Had the pleasure of talking to a member of Volume Bomb Records here in Portland, which is a small independent label, a record label,
Okay.
and they have a new program that they've announced called Unmuted, which is to highlight queer and female led punk bands in the Pacific
Oh,
Northwest area.
awesome.
Right? Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
And so they're having a gala this coming Friday, this coming
Right.
Friday
Right.
to do some fundraising, but they put on something called Pride at Loud Volume, which will be in July 4th, that will have two stages, and it will alternate between queer and female-led punk bands. It's gonna have a drag show.
Ooh,
It's gonna have a trans and non-binary fashion show. It's gonna be really cool.
that sounds
So
like so much fun.
yeah, and so
Portland
we
has
got
that
we
kind of stuff.
I'm sorry, huh?
Up there, you guys have that kind of stuff. I'm sorry, and I shouldn't say you guys. Up there,
Uh-huh.
y'all have that kind of stuff. So, yeah. I know we
Yeah.
have it down here too. I'm just not as connected to the scene. So,
I wouldn't be if it wasn't for Autumn, so she's the social calendar. She's the social butterfly. I'm just sort of
right.
the, yeah.
Along
Um,
for the ride.
I enjoyed it. Ride or die, really.
Right. Ride or die.
Oh, we have some adventures. It's so much fun.
Yeah, let's go with that. Uh, no, we do. We have a lot of good adventures.
Wow.
I
Um,
mean, we got to watch a straight guy squirm in his skin this weekend. That was cool.
that is true. Thank you for reminding me. So we were trying to choose a movie for this week, while in the heat of trying to do stuff for Rainbow Prom, and Autumn's cis male roommate, who knew cis male roommate. I don't know if it was a joke or if he was being honest, but he basically said, "Why don't we do Tu Wong Fu? Thanks for the memories." And I'd never seen it. Autumn, had you
Right.
seen it?
Oh, I've seen it before.
Okay, and Orange
So
Rose, you said
I've seen some of it, like bits and pieces. Yeah. And
right.
I actually
So,
think I've seen the whole thing, but it's not hitting my brain right now. Well,
Yeah.
you
I
know,
guess I can
you
do
know,
go ahead, Autumn.
I was gonna say for me, was just I was really curious to see what a cis white male thought of a drag queen.
right. And what
Yeah,
did this particular cis white male think?
right, and we did get his take.
And
It's unfortunate, that his take was essentially that everyone in the movie didn't wanna be there, and they were doing it only for a paycheck.
oh, well, what is your take then?
Um, I honestly, so I had never seen the movie before, and you and I, OnyxRose, were talking about how I judged it basically from I watched it with today's eyes,
Right.
and not really with the eyes of when it was released in the 90s.
Right.
Um, and I did not like it.
Yeah,
um,
but legit, isn't it supposed to be one of those movies that even though it didn't hold up, like, back then, it was kind of a revolutionary type of movie?
Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of movies, if I remember correctly, being made around that time. Like Priscilla is a
Right,
different movie, though it still involves a
right,
drag queen road trip. They
right,
seem to all involve a road trip in some
right,
way.
yeah.
It's a kind of a cliche. Um,
Right.
but but this one was done more Hollywood rather than independent, like Priscilla was, I
Right,
would say.
right.
But it
Well,
was
when you have
also the time
John
that,
Leguizamo.
yeah, then Birdcage had come out. I guess they were all around kind of, so there
Yeah, I
was
mean,
sort of
'cause
a revival of that.
they had the little Robin Williams, cameo that tied it into the Birdcage story a little bit there.
Yeah, it was almost
Right.
like he was playing the same character he was playing in a bit,
Oh,
almost.
okay.
Um,
Mhm.
but it was, to me, it just, I mean, I appreciate all of the actors. All the actors are amazing, and so for people who don't know, it was Wesley Snipes played a character, and John Leguizamo played one of the characters, and then and I can't believe I was on Dirty Dancing. I can't believe I'm spacing on the star
Patrick
of Dirty.
Swayze.
Thank you.
Patrick
Patrick
Swayze, right?
Thank you.
Swayze.
I mean, right, first of all, in Roadhouse, he is hobbed, but, um, so, I mean, I like the gentleman quite a bit. In Dirty Dancing, he's amazing too. So, but he was just Leguizamo was fantastic. That character was the only one who I could actually imagine being in the life.
Yeah,
The other
yeah.
two were too much larger than life. It was almost as
Yeah,
if it was a cis interpretation of what a drag queen would live.
That okay, so that's where I was going with it, you
Yeah.
know? And I think I do think John Leguizamo is exactly as you say. He is I like him in just about everything he does, though,
Yeah,
so
me too.
I like he is and he's legit, so
Yeah,
I
he's
like
tough.
Wesley Snipes too, but
I just see Blade when I
performing
look at Wesley Snipes now. I just, oh, I'm so sorry, but yeah.
it's
yeah,
Blade
like,
is
yeah,
magic.
I do.
And White Man Can't Jump. That was good too. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, White Man Can't Jump, but Blade because of the club scene where
Mhm.
the blood came out from the
Right.
sprinklers.
That's
OMG. That is
right.
like so I'm a club kid, so that, like, that I can picture that, like, it's like ecstasy. Okay. Like,
Yeah.
I wanna be a vampire, but I'm not. No.
I like Anne Rice vampires. I'm not sure I could go I know the modern vampires are so different to me. Well, Anne Rice
Well,
played the modern vampire, didn't she?
I like
I'm just
Poppy
gonna say
Bright.
Lestat if you sorry, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I love the stat. I actually have a first well, I'm not gonna tell you. I have a first edition, Anne Rice book that is,
Mm.
signed.
Oh, wow.
Yay!
Nice.
Yay!
Nice. Nice.
Um, yeah, no, I also like Poppy Z. Bright.
Mm.
He is actually a trans man,
Mm.
who transitioned, like, he wrote under Poppy Z. Bright and then transitioned. Um,
Wow.
so Poppy Z. Bright writes, like, horror type,
Mhm.
fiction works, but,
Mhm.
they have vampires in them as well, and they're
Yeah.
centered in, like, New Orleans and, Winston-Salem, North Carolina, so it's kind of like a Southern Gothic, almost, like, boozy,
Yeah.
like a hazy feel.
Mm.
Yeah, I
Okay.
get this, like, I don't know, oh god, chartreuse. That's
Okay.
something that keeps on popping up, chartreuse. Okay,
Yeah.
never mind, sorry.
No, no, no. I appreciate that because it gives me a chance to be kind of catty. So
No.
this gentleman was turned or transitioned to a masculine trans man. They're a man. Is that right?
Yes, Poppy
And they
Zebra
rode
is now
under
under yes, so Poppy Zebra, before he transitioned, was writing under the name Poppy Zebra. That is his dead name as far as I know.
yeah.
Yeah,
Ah,
yeah.
okay. So I was gonna make it like J.K. Rowling. There's still hope, but I'm not, gonna go there. I guess
That's
since it
pushing
didn't
it,
quite
Sam.
fit the analogy. Anyway, so we watched this movie, which is kind of like a western. Really, it's a road trip. Their car breaks down, and they're in a small town, and that's
God, I
what I
felt like we
liked
were in
about it.
West Texas. That
Yeah.
was so West Texas vibe.
Right. So it's a small town, and of course, all the drag queens um, like help this drab town discover style. I don't know. Is that I mean, like, there are certain roles historically that character types would play to help facilitate the main character's advancement, whether it be, and this certainly felt like one of those where it's like, it's an allies movie. It really is. It makes you feel good because the town bands together. They stand up for the
Yep.
drag queen,
Yes.
and so it's a really an allies movie. It's a movie to say thank you to the allies and to, of course, show people like me that there are allies.
So,
So
what did the
yeah.
roommate, the cis white male roommate think? Is this the he is white, right? Before I
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah,
jump to
yeah.
any conclusions, I should say that,
No, yeah, no,
right?
that's a fair conclusion. Autumn, we're not gonna say his name ever.
Yeah,
We'll
no,
just say
no.
we'll just say the room we gotta come up with an acronym. But anyway, right now, we'll just say the roommate.
We'll get back to you on
The
that.
roommate.
The roommates.
He has a good heart. I gotta say, he does
You
have a good heart. He
you
just
have to
doesn't
say
know
it.
anything. He just
Oh,
doesn't
this is
know anything.
well, this is
I
great,
just
like, we
Square
should
one
well,
for trans people with him,
well, now
so
it's time to, like, get him to watch Boy Meets Girl, because
yes,
that's a
oh,
Autumn.
updated
definitely,
that's
Yes.
definitely.
kind of a movie where, they use things like genetic girl,
Yeah.
but I remember when that was a popular term,
Mhm.
online, people would type GG and it would mean genetic girl,
Yeah.
I remember that feeling. I
Yeah.
remember when, like, the word transsexual was popular.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I
Well,
love that movie.
Autumn rocks "Sweet Transvestite," but it's always a song that's always been a little worried, Autumn
Ye
rocks that when we're at, karaoke, but for me, there's
Okay,
a
well,
little,
if
like,
we're gonna
ouch
do
every
this,
time.
we gotta talk about
Yeah.
why I did it.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
I mean,
You
if
did
we're
it to
going down this rabbit hole, we're going down this rabbit hole.
go ahead and do
So,
it.
I was early in my transition stages back in Texas. It's like 2021, and the bars are just opening from COVID. And my sister was so annoyed with me before lockdown because I was still early transition and worried about the way I looked. I would only hang out at queer clubs. So she finally gets me to go to a straight bar with her, and it's like the most redneck straight bar you could find in Texas. I'm like, this is gonna be great. Let's go.
Yeah. No one knows how to scare you like your siblings, so,
Right,
yeah.
Right?
Like, "Okay,
And
you're really taking me here?"
I walk in, and I kid you not, I felt at least 10 people just staring, and I'm like, "This is gonna
Uh,
be great." So they had karaoke going on, and I got tired of the looks, so I went up and I put "Sweet Transvestite" into my as my song request. And when I got up there, like, I did my best theater performance ever because girl's been in theater a long time,
nice.
and at the end of the song, the entire bar was applauding for me, so it's
Ah,
my ongoing joke that that's kind of my "F you" coming out songs.
that
Yeah,
is
right? Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, whenever you perform it, it's a pleasure. It's always great to watch you do it, so you do it very well.
I would like for y'all to have him watch Boy Meets Girl and then see him squirm or see if he
Mhm.
doesn't squirm.
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna have to definitely circle back to that because that's, like, one of my favorite movies, so I'll do it
Yeah,
again just
I watch it
maybe.
every day. I watch it every day.
Yeah.
It's on Hulu.
I
The
want him to definitely watch a movie that has an actual transgender woman playing a
Yes,
transgender
yes,
woman.
Yeah,
Michelle Henley is so beautiful. That's her
Yeah.
name, Michelle Henley.
Yeah. Yeah.
we
She's
could really blow his
beautiful.
mind. Sorry.
Go
Yeah, well, yes, yes,
I
indeed.
was
we
gonna
could,
say if we
but
really wanna blow his mind, we could play that scene from what was it, National Anthem?
oh, yeah, yeah.
They
That's a
had
good
that.
movie too.
They had that, they went on a little trip on the beach side around the bonfire, and trying to be edge around this for social media, but, and it was a situation where it was 2 guys and a trans girl making out.
Yeah. We made
Oh,
a joke at the
cool.
beginning of the show that this is our second three-way. There was a three-way
Yes.
in that movie.
Uh, no, that's
And it was
great,
a bit
that's great.
shocking.
I think that, I think that for any cis person, I think to see something like that with a trans person in the room so
Mhm.
that they can sit in their uncomfortable feelings and
Yeah.
then ask any questions if necessary
Yeah.
like honest talk,
Yeah.
It can be funny, it can be, it can be kind of crude and lewd, but as long as it's from a great place, as
Mhm,
long as people are
mhm.
being honest and not being assholes, and
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
not give up good information? Uh,
No, yeah, I think it's a definitely correct. I think that it's a very nice, way to sort of ease someone into us. And that's what we're basically doing because he doesn't understand
And
us
see,
much at
that's
all. He's got
that's
an
why I
open
have
mind,
my
but he has a lot of preconceived notions. So
yes,
he's
yeah,
like, yeah, Roseanne Barr used an analogy about a spring donut with sprinkles, and the first thing you gotta do is get the sprinkles off first, and then you can talk about the icing. You gotta pick all those little sprinkles up.
right.
So we're trying to pick off some of the sprinkles just so he has some more context,
That's
just by basically
great.
being us and letting him see,
Yeah, see,
you know?
that's great. As long as he has constant contact and exposure to trans people,
Mhm.
maybe he'll get a different idea. And that's how I think about a lot of people in this country,
Yeah. I agree with you.
sadly. And
Yeah,
so,
yeah. I'm old enough to remember in the '70s when gay people were becoming more visible, as a child, and recognizing there was a discomfort from the straight population when they were encountering gay people because they weren't as common as they are now, and the invisible and it's kind of and and, uh, and it got better. It does get
right.
better, and the way it gets better is by getting to know us, and I think we're kinda cool. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
so do
I'm
I.
radically
Yeah.
pro-transgender, I've already said that.
there's an FBI list.
Oh, I'm sure, I thought it'd be an honor to make that freaking list.
Right? I'm
So
like, how am I what's my label?
right, right.
So I have to push back against the movie a little bit.
Okay.
And I've been
Oh,
thinking about
okay.
this because I was a little catty when we first watched it. Like I think yes, it's a great ally movie, and I can see what they're trying to do with the story. But I just feel like they tried to play too many of the trans stereotypes into the characters. And,
Mhm.
as amazing performance as John Leguizamo did as a actor, the character herself, like, went down a rabbit hole where at the end of the movie, you're looking at yourself like, is this a pedophile?
Yeah, she did kind of
Oh,
there was an
Yeah.
attachment, one of the teenage 17-year-old boys of the town.
oh, right,
Now,
right,
she's playing a character who's 24, 25, doesn't matter,
right.
but he becomes attracted to her, a crush or something like that, and
Yeah.
yeah, and that was an uncomfortable scene to watch. And one of the other
I
things I think the movie failed to do is that, generally speaking, a drag performer takes off their drag
right.
outfits at the
Right.
end of the
Yeah.
show or the end of the
Yeah.
day, you know? They
Right.
don't go around in drag 24/7. Trans people do because this is us. This is our
Because
lives. It's
this is what we
right.
wear. Oh,
But that movie made no distinction between that they were drag performers presumed to be gay, but they were living as women and wanted to be referred to as women the whole time while in drag. Just, there was no washing your hair, doing laundry scenes at all, whether they were male presenting or female presenting, and that it was just constant drag and really looking beautiful and elegant. That's not real at all. But
right.
yeah, you don't have to say that out loud. That's probably something everybody gets. Drag's a job. Being trans is
Drag
a life. It's still just being me.
I mean, let's not get it twisted. Being trans can be a job at times.
Well,
Whew.
good point. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we're actually over at 7:08. I guess we'll quickly announce the movie we're going to watch for next week, which is going to be Dog Day Afternoon, starring Al Pacino. Um,
Oh
that
my
movie has a
god.
history. Yeah, that movie has a history. The idea was that the character was robbing the bank because he was his transsexual girlfriend needed money for the operation. There's been some whitewashing of that story, and so we'll talk a little bit about the actual woman involved and the news footage about that actual woman at the time, and compare it to the movie itself. And plus, it's Al fucking Pacino, so it's a great freaking movie. So Dog Day Afternoon. We'll talk about that, and then Onyx Rose, why don't you tell us what you have coming up in the future?
So, tomorrow, Monday, Wendy the Druid,
Mhm.
at 1 o'clock, we have Trauma Talk with, Brandon Elrich is so gay.
Yeah.
Sarah the Shenanigator, the poet Miranda, um, and myself, and possibly Kira of the
Mhm,
Stars, and Wendy.
mhm.
Yeah, and
Right on.
as of right now, I think that is it for a bit. I know I'll have something with Brandon and something with Sturge coming up as well. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, and then it's just some
I
one-on-ones that I've got planning going on. Uh,
good, good. I'm hoping to have you, hoping to do another playlist and another,
y-
episode. So I look forward to
yes,
that.
yes, for
Um,
both of you two. Yeah.
Hey,
yeah, yeah.
I gotta tell
I'd
you,
love to talk about her music taste. I really
I
would love to talk about her music taste.
am I being
Or,
judged right now?
no, not at all, honey. Not at all. This is a judgment-free zone. No yucking of no. No.
I was like, I was being bratty with my music choices this weekend. It was all a
Uh,
mood. I told Samantha right before we got to this event yesterday, I was like, "Hey, we run into MAGA protesters. I'm channeling Chelsea Guts today," and I had the megaphone and everything to back it up. So
yeah.
I was just tormenting Sammy with the playlist the whole day. It was great.
So, Autumn, since we're running over, why don't you quickly hit on what we have coming up? But you just got a scoop, possibly. So, um,
Yeah, so we're gonna be we're working on getting couple of different individuals from the Portland Music Festival to come in and talk about the protest situation going on in Portland. It's gonna be really awesome. One of them is head medic and does a lot of medic training, and then the other
explain.
one's just
I don't mean to cut you off. I don't explain what the music festival is. What do you mean by the music festival?
so
For those who don't
it's
know.
called it's called the Music Festival in Portland, but what it is there's a nightly ICE protest, and they have DJs out there and things like that because we're just showing our presence and continuing the protest. So that's what we refer to when we talk about the music festival here in Portland.
Yeah,
Okay, I didn't
it's
know
just
that. Thank you for
yeah.
saying that because
And they
Yeah.
have
I
like
wouldn't have
lights and a
known.
DJ and everything, and it's a big dance
Oh, it's
party
been great.
sometimes. It's, yeah.
We've done karaoke down there. They do karaoke. You can go do
Oh,
karaoke right in front of ICE.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sweet
Oh.
transvestite, baby.
Right. So we got that going on, and then like Samantha, I mentioned earlier, we have the gala this week, so it's gonna be another
Mhm.
busy week for us. But it sounds like a lot
Nice,
of cool things to come for both shows.
And then
nice.
just to finish it up, and this is almost entirely between because of two people that mainly Autumn and then Josh. Is it Josh? Who is it? Um, Autumn, who helped with
Which
the
one?
Brett that helped with the interview that we were with
Oh, I'm
Brett.
sorry. Jason Hassler from Hassler and the Paranormal on KXRW.
Thank you. So because of Autumn and Jason's work, I posted about Representative Maria Gluesenkamp Perez and her being one of the 8 Democrats that voted for the Don't Say Trans Act, and I was a bit miffed at her vote. And of course, she's up for election in her 3rd congressional district. She is losing by almost 7 percentage points at this point behind
Good.
what would presumably be the Republican candidate.
Wow.
If they win, and they are expected to win their primary. But our primary is in August. And so we have the pleasure of interviewing Brett Heinrich, who is the primary, Mary Gluesenkamp Perez's primary opponent. So we're going to talk a little bit about our 3rd district and what he can offer our 3rd district and how he feels about trans people and how he feels about the influx of trans people and non-binary people who are coming from red states to Washington State and what he thinks may be necessary or what he can offer in that regard. But we're scheduling that. We're hoping, we know it'll be radio portion of it, but we're working on getting that also put on Substack while we interview him on the radio, which would be really cool because then I'd have a microphone to talk to on Substack. Um, but we're still working on the logistics of that. But regardless, even if it's just the radio show, I'll post it here on Substack. But I'm highly disappointed in Maria Gluesenkamp Perez, especially since you're kind of already losing and it's going to be tight as it is. The idea of sort of alienating a rather large group or community within the very city that you're going to need to even get close to winning is probably the best way to shoot yourself in the toe. So I just think that she should rethink her positions there. In any event, Vancouver, I guess you can imagine it as is like Chicago is to Illinois. The way the city votes,
Right.
primarily dictates how the rural communities that surround it end up being legislated. And we're in the city. We're in the communities too. We're going to a bunch of those pride communities throughout the third district. And we're going. And I just think that it would be unwise of her as a candidate at this point to not remember we exist. So we're going to talk about that on our next show. So yeah. Cool. We need a voting block. That's how we're going to every community. We got a coalition together. We're on their eyes. Yeah. No. Anyway. Yeah. That's all talk and no show so far. But anyway.
Hey, we're getting there. We'll see how yesterday's video footage turned out, and that'll give us a good indication where we're at for the political talk. So.
Yeah, there we go. Get the weather of the third district before we talk to Brett Heinrich. That'll be fantastic. All right, so we're gonna close out. I know OnyxRose, you have a closeout that you do every time. I love your closeout. Would you please do us the honor of doing your closeout, and then Autumn will do hers?
I will.
Thank you.
Thank you. First of all, thank you both for having me on.
Anytime.
I
Always a
appreciate
pleasure.
yeah, love hanging out, talking with both of you. So I do no trash. I know transphobia, no racism, no ableism, no sexism, no homophobia, no xenophobia, no Islamophobia, land back, reparations, no borders, fuck ICE, and fuck Trump.
Fuck Trump. Excellent. Autumn? Yeah, there we go.
Until next time, keep your candles lit, and I'll see you in the moonlight. Be blessed.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Samantha Paige, I guess signing off for another dry run. And thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next week, same time. If your siblings, know you're loved and you're valid. And if your family, know you're loved and you're valid. To our allies, thank you so much. You are also loved and valid. Have a great night. Bye.
Bye.